Hey guys, this is Ben with AMP TV here to give you my thoughts on the Harley Davidson Badlander's 2-up seat. This seat's available from Harley Davidson for about $280 and it looks pretty phenomenal. I'm going to be sticking it on a 2020 Iron 883. So let's, for starters, take the two seats and look at them right next to each other so we can kind of get a comparison point. On the right here is the stock seat and on my left is the Badlander. The version that I've got here is a synthetic leather, so it should hold its color and resist cracking for a bit longer than actual cowhide. This model comes in a slight two-tone, which actually looks really, really good. Now, if we look just between the two, you can see right off the bat that the Badlander has a much lower profile. So it's probably going to lower you down a bit and lower you a little bit back, which might be perfect if you're a taller rider or you're going to put some forward controls on. The profile of the sides also looks significantly slimmer, so that's definitely going to move the position of your legs. So you're going to hug the tank a little bit differently. Lastly, I can also see that right off the bat, this passenger section here is really just not going to cut it for a lot of passengers. I don't think it's going to be super comfortable for a lot of larger passengers. But other than that, I mean, it's a beautiful looking seat. And while the stock seat looks much beefier, anyone who's ridden on these things know that it's kind of just an illusion. It's not that great a seat. So now that we've seen, kind of how it looks versus the stock seat, let's go throw it on the bike and see how it actually looks. Okay, I've got the seat on the bike, and the first thing that you can notice is it exposes much more of the bike itself. Since it has that slimmer cut on the sides, you can see, before your seat was coming up almost all the way to the oil tank here. But what kind of I noticed on this side is it is exposing these clips over here. I don't know if it's just me being nitpicky, but you can definitely see them. It kind of changes the profile of the bike a little bit. It's not horrible, but it's definitely something to notice. Also, for a lot of aftermarket seats, well, I guess this isn't really aftermarket, is it? But anything other than stock, you notice there's a gap here between the tank and the seat for the 3.3. That's pretty common. It doesn't look horrible, just something to note. And then the other thing is that piece that I mentioned before. This looks pretty uncomfortable. It's really thin. I don't see wanting to spend a lot of time on top of this back piece. But if you're riding a Sportster, you're probably not doing too many long rides with someone on your back. If you are, maybe this isn't the seat to go for. I like it so I can put a bag on here and not have it scuff up my seat. But in general, it is one damn good looking seat on the back of this bike. It looks really good. It looks a lot lower. It makes the bike look pretty good looking. That two-tone looks really nice on this seat, or on this bike. I can't complain on how it looks at all. It definitely enhances the appeal of this iron here. All right, so we've kind of talked about looks a lot on this, but let's talk about what kind of really matters for your seat here, and that's comfort. I've not done a ton of riding on this. I haven't done 200, 300 mile trips on it, but for what I have done, I have to say that the reviews that I've read that say it's as comfortable or less comfortable than the stock seat are just wrong. This thing is super comfy to me comparatively. It's not going to be a touring seat. It's never going to be a touring seat, but it's definitely more comfortable than stock. I've hit some of my potholes, my usual potholes on my ride on this, and it felt night and day different than the stock. Also, I'm 6 feet tall, so being lower, and I'm eventually going to put front pegs on here, so being lower is kind of ideal for me. Your mileage are going to vary on what's comfortable to you, but as a 6 foot tall, 190 pound rider, this puts me in a much better position. Some of those aesthetic things like on the side here are a little funky, and then if someone is going to be sitting on your back a lot, this might not be the right seat for you, but for its price point, I think it's going for around $280. It's not a bad choice. I haven't decided if it's really going to stay on my bike for forever, but for right now, I'm pretty pleased with it. Well, thank you guys for watching my overview of the Harley Davidson Badlander 2-up seat. If you guys enjoyed this, throw me a like or a sub. I've got a whole lot of content coming up, and I'd love for you guys to be the first people to see it. Drop me a line in the comments below, and ride safe, dude.